Hey, we are back. We are back at 8:03 and on time. Okay, back in the place and on time on this Tuesday. Welcome, 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 welcome back, Scoop Nation. It is time for another Scoop show, and we are so glad that you have decided to come on back and have a good old conversation with us tonight. Hey, what's up, South Georgia? What's up? What's up? So yes, welcome back. Like I said, if you are new around here, we are a fam. Okay, this show is very interactive. All of this energy we're sending out right now, we want that back. And to do that, you can hit that comment section and like Miss Latasha just did, let us know where you are repping. Say what's up. Be sure and hit that share button so your friends and fam on your feed know where you will be for the next few minutes having this good old conversation. They want to know why you getting ghosts. There will be no replies, y'all, because they in here in the scoop, okay? So be sure and hit that share button so everyone knows where you've gone and ghosted them for. Okay, tell them come on and join. Tag them into the show. Come on in. Okay. Be sure you do that after you've let us know where you are tuning in from. Hey, Miss Loretta, how you doing, ma'am? It has been a long time since I've seen your name show up. I usually don't do this, but I am so glad to see you in the show this evening. Welcome back to you too, ma'am. Okay, if you are in Facebook jail, because it happens. If you decide to take a Facebook break, if you go on social media silent and all that good stuff, we want to make sure that you have some type of way to stay locked into the scoop. And to do that, you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. If you are on YouTube, you can hit us up at The Scoop Show. Be sure and hit all of that little, bells and likes and things. On Facebook at Real Scoop Show, and on Instagram at The Scoop Radio Show. So be sure and hit your notifications. Make sure that you are locked in and you have definitely signed up for the mailing list as well, because we keep you locked and loaded with good information on what we're doing there as well. And you can sign up for that on our Scoop page. I just slid that in. Spirit just said, hey, remind them about the mailing list. So did that. Okay. Aside from that, I think that is all of the deets on how you can stay locked in with us. It is time for the show. Bro, how are you? How are you on this Tuesday?
Listen, I'm good. I'm glad to be back. And I'm eating this salad, so y'all don't judge me.
No judgment. Proud of you.
I'm eating salad with honey mustard dressing instead of the other stuff that I was going to get. So I'm trying. I've been working out.
Not mad at it.
Trying to get my tight ready for my medium shirts, so I could Yeah.
Big deal.
Yeah. That's it. That's what's going on with me. I'm good. How you doing?
I am very well, much better than last week. Thank y'all for the prayers. Some of y'all follow me on my personal page and knew that your girl was out here bad last week. Okay, I was caught out here real bad last week. So I appreciate you guys being patient with us and sending your prayers and your thoughts. I am feeling much better. I am doing much better, and I am on the hunt for a new practitioner. So everything is much better this week than next week. So than last week. So thank you very much. Ready for this show.
Good. That's good to hear. We got a good show tonight. So as Q said, y'all make sure if you have not hit the share button that you do. If you haven't tagged in your friends, you simply have to type their name in the comments, and it'll give them a notification because we got a good show tonight. So, and of course, hit that like button. Hit the share button. Comment all night, y'all. We got some very interesting topics. So, yeah, you ready to jump in them?
Let's go.
All right. So let's see. Let's see this first one. I think this is the right. Lord Jesus, I can't see these little bitty things. I'm about to guess. Hold on.
That ain't it.
That ain't it. Hold on.
It's a conversation. I think it's a conversation, the one that you're looking for. There you go.
Okay, here we go. All right, so here's the conversation. Lord, help. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I saved it in
for our business peeps.
Listen, I had to save it in my phone. This one in my phone, because I knew I wouldn't be able to see it. And can you read this?
I can.
Please read it, because it's not in my phone apparently.
Got it. All right. So, set boundaries. If people can't respect those boundaries, and this is the conversation that is shared. The set boundaries part was the caption. I paid you $5,200. Oh, the black is the customer. The purple is the business owner. All right. I paid you $5,200. I expect you to answer me ASAP. Hello, you paid me to execute and complete a project for you, not to be available to you 24/7. I've kept in constant communication with you throughout. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, but for the amount of money I paid you, you owe me your full attention. What's going on? You owe me your full attention. Then I'm guessing a little time passes and the person says, what's going on? Why did I get a refund? And she says, I'm sorry. Now I need to go to my messages because I can't see it anymore. It has been scooted off my screen. But she says, I'm sorry, but I think you should find another team that will match the type of availability that you are expecting. I won't be able to make those types of concessions. Best of luck. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Is how that conversation ended. And we're done. We're done here. Put a fork in it. She's done.
Game over.
Just respectfully reclaimed her time. Okay. I'm totally here for it. This is how you just say, I'm good, love. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you yeah, you agree?
I'm with it. You know what? To me, when I read this, I thought this is how we should be as business owners, as entrepreneurs. But typically, most of us wouldn't, because we are usually in the position where we're chasing coin, where we feel like we got to chase a dollar, but we got to take every customer because we're just trying to scratch to survive. So I am really happy to see this entrepreneur say, you know what, this is just not a good fit. So that level of maturity, for some people, takes time to get there. But I think all of us who are in business at some point learn, like, there's every dollar is not a good dollar. Every customer is not your customer. Every sale is not worth your time.
Come on.
And so I think that's what, so again, she set boundaries. This is a great boundary. The only thing I wondered was, in her initial conversation, was there any discussion about this? And if there was not, will she in the future set that expectation? That I'm not here for you 24 hours a day. So I'll come back to you. I'll consistently communicate, but I am not available to you 24 hours in the day. So I want those. That's my thoughts. What about you?
Oh yeah, obviously by my going in before you could even come back to us on screen. I agree. I completely agree with this. It does not matter the way that this person spoke to their mindset, in that the amount of money that I paid you, I deserve you deserve, I deserve this amount of time. $5,200 ain't a whole lot of money to a whole lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like 50, obviously, because sis sent that back without even discussing it. Okay, here you go. Take your little money, because obviously you need it more than me. You know what I mean? Do what you need to do. I think this needs to happen more. I think we have been bullied, so to speak. There are some business owners who do not do good business. There are some who fail and don't do anything to try and fix it. There are people who are arrogant in their ignorance and have no desire to get better. That's not who I'm talking about. Okay. Like, those aren't the people that people like us are ever talking about. Like, when we say that it's time for us to set standards, to create boundaries, to say no, to move on, you're not my target, and be able to say that, because we have been bullied by this all black businesses. Black businesses do, black businesses don't. Not the black businesses that I do black business with. You know what I mean? Like, it's there's customer responsibility, and then there's business owner, entrepreneurial real responsibilities that we have, and we should all protect ourselves. But I do not think we also, as business owners, have to protect our profit. And we cannot actually ever become big businesses if we keep chasing little money. It does not happen. And we need to respect our level up. When it's time for you to level up, that is when your boundaries must also level up. It's time, because folks will punk you over these little this stuff. They will punk, will try. So I want to see more of this. I honestly, it is respectful. It was classy. It was tactful. She tried to redirect it, and it just send her.
I think what I appreciated most, and obviously this isn't a part of what we see, but what I appreciated even was that this is probably, again, this is me imagining, that this is also the type of business owner who doesn't have an interaction like this and then turns around and posts it on social media and post her rant about customers and how customers this and customers that and customers this, and y'all ain't going on social media, because that to me is not that's not the way to handle business. So she said, like, she just, hey, have a nice day, and move on.
I hope you find the people who can dedicate all this time and concern to you. This
nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody can. Nobody really can, and that's the reality. Nobody has time for all of that. So
no, not for $5,200.
Not even close. All right, let's move on.
Yep.
I've seen this one quite a bit this week. Dear sis, he gets off by playing you. His feelings of insecurity due to the fact you are physically, spiritually, and emotionally out of his league temporarily subside, every time he hurts you. He's not doing the work to rise to your level. He's where'd it go?
Oh, this is where she went super left. We can't leave the bottom part of this off. I'm going back to.
That's what's let me go on. He's doing the work to drag you to his. Yeah, he's not doing the work to rise to your level. He's doing the work to drag you to his. That's what she says. Thoughts?
I think this can be accurate for some men, and this is the experience of some women. I don't like the way that it's authored, like, it applies to all cis, I don't. It needs more context. This isn't accurate. There's not enough other stuff to this to make this one of them. Yep, true. But I think that for some women, this has absolutely been their experience. They have seen this, not necessarily in its totality, in its, all of these things hit at once in the one guy, but like after the fact, women can see these types of experience or these traits in men. It doesn't mean that you let them get as far as using you up and making you to, tearing you down and, you just bitter, broken woman. Like, but you can see this in men. Like, we know what this looks like. We know we can identify the men who this applies to. So I think for the fact that she was speaking to women, she is a woman talking to women, that leaves a little room for vagueness, and you can interpret it how you feel you need to interpret it. But knowing that it was being shared, and it will be shared, like that's the hopes when you do things like that, that it gets shared and circulated and people high five it and amen it. That's when I think we should provide more context before putting these types of thoughts into the atmosphere, because it takes away from the real weight that they should carry in the conversation, because it's so generalized now. Because I know lots of dudes. I've been in relationships with men who would qualify for this post had I allowed it to get that far. You know what I mean? And then we won't just be naive and say these men don't exist. This is crazy. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think sometimes. So I had a manager once tell me that when we say stuff in open forums and in open settings, the person who this is really intended for doesn't hear you because they're oblivious to what's happening on that level. Mm-hmm. And so you have to directly go to that person and say it to that person, because that person is not going to know what's for them. Mm-hmm. I think this is one of those things. I think that oftentimes the person who hears this and is like, yes, 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 it's like, no, that's not for you. Because are there some men who get off by playing women? Yeah, no doubt. But a lot of times it is men not saying exactly what you want to hear, and so you're trying to manipulate him or figure out how you can get him to change what he really says into what you really want him to think. You think that, for example, if I sleep with him, if I cook for him, if I am there for him and I show him I'm not like other women, then he will treat me differently.
Yep.
And that's not 99.999% of the time, that's not going to happen. Who a man is who a man is. So I see that often. The other thing I thought about when I read this was this arbitrary, we have these strange ways of determining our value. So how do we know when a person is physically, spiritually, and emotionally out of our league, or what league that is in?
She was serious, okay? Like, she listed in all possible ways. He does not qualify.
Yeah, I might be able to say physically, like, but even then, you know what I mean? Like, I can look at, like, I've seen couples where I'm like, they don't fit. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't look like they fit physically, but spiritually, emotionally, or other areas, whatever, they fit, and they're fine, and they are perfectly and happily in love and spend the rest of their life together. And I'm looking at them going, but dude is ugly. How did you get her?
Yeah.
And he's not rich. So we always go through the same thing, like, well, if an ugly man get a really attractive woman, he either got a whole lot of money or his sex is good. Like, you know what I mean? That's our default. So how do we determine what league and level and value is placed on a person? Is often what messes us up, because the flip side of that is there are some really good men and women out there who are not experiencing the type of love that they desire, simply because the present condition of the person makes them seem like they're not on their quote unquote level. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of ladies are missing some good dudes, and a lot of good dudes are missing some wonderful ladies, because at the exact moment you meet, we ain't on the same level.
Yep. Like, so many of our Black rom-coms are based on this premise right here. The perception of leagues and value and disqualification therein and how wrong it is, like how often it is wrong, how we initially see a thing. So to me, it's so crazy that not crazy. It's just kind of funny at this point because people gonna people. But like that's our generation. Like we came up on this specific trope, and I think it was based on this is when it was happening. Like it was a reflection of what was happening. Women were shifting we were we were shifting in the in business and in stature and what we cover, you know what I mean? So that became the thing, hot shot woman and the man who's not quite there yet, and should she really, you know what I mean? We went from Pretty Woman to Taraji and Michael Ealy and Homeboy struggling, you know what I mean? So that became our thing. So I don't, it's always interesting to me.
And with the hope, here's what it is, with the hope that we would be Cliff and Claire.
Yes, one day one day we could end up taking it to get to this point. Yes.
And so if you're not already there or close to there,
we ain't gonna ever be there.
We're not gonna get there. So I can't fool. So you're not on my level,
right?
And I think we miss. Like I said, we miss a lot doing that.
Yeah, we picked we picked at that to make it fit where we are. You know what I mean? Wherever we are landing in this whole conversation, and that conversation in the moment is where we go with it. And it's just that one. I'm like, how did we miss that part of it? Like all of our favorite movies end up with him eventually working it out, having a conversation. He proves the fact, I am really what you need, and you are what I need. Like, why do we keep taking ourselves through this and putting ourselves at odds with this? And we've seen how this plays out, or are we gonna put that into that's just fairy tale box? That ain't real life.
Fairy tale. Yep. You know what? And I also get, I know we gotta move on. We got time. But I also get that that it doesn't always work out like that. Yeah. Like there are some instances where the person just stays at that quote unquote level, and they don't. And so, but again, I think, but none of us really know that.
Right. That's relationships. Why date if it's gonna be a win every time?
Yeah, none of us know because people evolve. And the person who is just, since we use the Huxtables, the oldest daughter's in medical school, he's doing nothing. All of a sudden, she decides she doesn't want to be on medical school anymore, and so now this whole dynamic is thrown off because now he's the doctor, she's working in a whatever odd jobs until she decides to go back to medical. So I mean, like
she finds herself.
Yeah, until she finds herself, and then realizes, okay, I do want it, so it's so, it's not the way we should look at how we value each other. Which is why I always go back to look at the things, the internal things, look at their character, their integrity, look at, how they love, how they treat people, are they kind, look at, how do they work through, conflict, how do they, those kinds of things. Do we value our value systems the same, even in the spaces that we might not agree? Like we can disagree on something and still have the same value system and have a very healthy relationship.
So true.
Off soapbox. What's up, Dre? Off soapbox. All right. Since we're already on there, we might as well stay here. I think this was yours, right?
Yep. Yeah. Well, kind of mine. I was the one who posted it. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, now I remember.
Yeah. So this is a member post remix of we're being at the Scoop. We are trying to be more diligent about how we present certain topics in the media. So I took an original post and remixed it. So there is a conversation going that says that men with a certain level of money have better opportunities at their disposal with a higher caliber of women. It's argued that women that have high confidence and great personalities but lack the more socially acceptable physical aesthetic, meaning just flat out they don't look like it, should not be surprised at being passed over by men that have money and status. So, backstory to this. This is basically saying that women with super high confidence and the brilliant personalities are somewhat fooling themselves to believe that men who are popular, who are attractive to the mass majority of women, who have large amounts of money or are considered wealthy, would ever be interested in them. Like, it is almost disrespectful of them to approach men of this caliber with the expectation of being taken seriously romantically. That's the best I can do with what I was given. Let's talk about it, people. What are y'all's thoughts? What do you think?
You know, let me put it back up so I can stay on point here. So I actually responded to this one. I said,
Did you?
"This is true."
What I missed?
I said, "This is true, but it's not right," is what I said. I said, "This is definitely true because of the culture we live in, that if a man makes, a lot of money, then there are things that he can have access to that are more available to him that, that people will overlook because of this, of our incestuous desire to be wealthy. And so we recognize, obviously, money does give us power, certain levels of power, but go back to what I previously said, it misses all of, when I say it's not right, is it misses all of the fundamental things that make a relationship work between two people. Money helps, absolutely. But it is not going to help you overcome, for the long run, two people who just don't like each other, or two people who have different value systems. So, and I do think, this idea that women who are not have the acceptable physical aesthetic, I like how you put that.
I tried so hard. I backspaced and
yeah. I mean, it's true again, but it's not right because, again, it overlooks the things that are most valuable. You can lose weight. These days, you can buy a butt,
a whole body.
You can
get a whole body if you
want.
Body.
Yeah. So, to me, those things are second tier things that are not as important. So,
yeah, I thought this was this whole thing is getting kind of old. This to me, we are lowering our value as a community with this conversation. I say that to say that we have overblown who's worthy of being seen to the point where it's causing even more confusion among us. And I say that to say, if we continue this, we will create a space where we will be absolutely okay. Right now, there's still a little corner of folks will call you out about, that ain't even what you really like, though. You know what I mean? Like, you got that, but that ain't even really what you like, though. You search all of your Pornhub suggestions. It's the complete opposite of the thing that you out here searching for. You know what I mean? You look at all of the people that you slide in the DMs, but not posted on the page, and they look like this thing, or they love these things. You know what I mean? Because there are a lot of people who play like they can't stand smart people, but love smart people. So they go out and they date folks as dumb as a box of rocks, and then really crave someone who can compliment them on a different level, or vice versa. You know what I mean? So we won't really seek out the things that are going to actually compliment us, instead of get us compliments by other people. Right. You know what I mean? I need you complimenting me. I don't need them complimenting me. You know what I mean? Like that's different. There's a difference there. So like I want us to reel this in before we let this get out of control. Yeah, because it's bigger than preferences. I think setting the standard, saying that you should not even attempt it, like how dare you attempt it, is too much. Like that's where it gets different from preferences. Because if you don't really prefer it, but if the people prefer it, now it's your preference, or someone else shouldn't prefer it because the rest of the people don't. Now that's not what this conversation is anymore. And that's where I'm like, I'm gonna head out. I'm all for preferences. Y'all know, like I'm consistent. I am all for find the lid for your pot, as my girl Demetria Lucas says. I totally believe that. But this is not what this is to me. That's not what this is.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. No disagreement there. Um, it's out of hand.
Mhm.
It's out of hand, and that's the reality. The reality is out of hand. And what makes it even more ridiculous is you don't like even the non socially acceptable physiques.
Physical aesthetic.
Physically, thank you. Aesthetic physiques are not like it's not like it's gonna do anything for you, or to have somebody like what's gonna
If you
happen.
are what you bring to the table type of man, don't be this type of dude. Don't think so.
I mean that too, but I mean like it's
I
not
couldn't
for me.
resist.
Like if you one of them type like I remember like for example, being taught that in corporate America when you show up to corporate events you want to have a certain type of look, a certain type of woman. I actually remember being in college told that in corporate America I wouldn't do well because I was big, so I had to lose weight. And so, yeah, told you had to lose weight or you would struggle because there's a certain level you could get to, and after that, that's it because of your size.
In some industries, I can see that being true.
Yeah, I mean,
shallow.
yeah, but but it was like it's the same thing with your spouse. So there's certain types of spouse that you have to have, and if you don't have that type of spouse, you're gonna struggle. They're gonna meet your wife, and then they're not gonna promote you. And I'm like, but that's not really as big of a thing anymore. So what's the benefit to denying what you really want? Like who are you trying to please with the person who you're supposed to be spending the rest of your life and the majority of your time with?
Yep.
Who are you trying to please?
It shouldn't be us.
It shouldn't be.
Put that out there. It should not be us.
Because I'm gonna roll over to who I want. And the word of the Lord is blessed. Forget who everybody else wants. I'm doing me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't care what anybody else.
And suggest you do you. Yep.
Suggest the same for you. So, yeah. All right. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. All right, let's talk about her. Let's go ahead and talk about her.
Yep, our girl.
Let's talk about our girl. Where's she at? Sha'Carri. So look at this. Sha'Carri was dead last in a repeat of the medal stand from Tokyo Games. It was Elaine Thompson-Herah with Shelly Ann Fraser-Price and Shericka Jackson in third. So for those who quickly forget, there was a race at Prefontaine last week.
Yep, 21st. Or the 20th maybe, because this was posted the 21st. So.
Yeah, which was supposed to be same thing it would have been at the Olympics had Sha'Carri not been disqualified, and she finished in last place. The real story around this was not just the race. I mean, it was the race. The race was one part of it, but then second, it became her response. So let's start with the race. The race, she got beat pretty bad.
She came in ninth.
Yeah, 9
last.
Yeah, she got beat bad. It was bad. Like let's just call it what it was. And I don't remember what her time was, but even her time in comparison to previous times was off. And so I wonder, what was going on there. Like I watched the race several times and like I didn't see like she got out the block bad. I didn't see anything form wise. It's like, okay, I mean, yeah, bad day or nerves or anything could have done it. But she came in last place. She then followed that by her post-race interview. She was hyped and she was defensive and she cussed and she didn't initially congratulate the winner of the race, which is customary. And so she got raked for it. she got raked for it pretty bad. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about the race in itself. I didn't follow the Jamaican runners very closely. But it was always my understanding that she would have lost to them. Like her best time was always still slower than their times. So them winning is almost not even a part of the conversation to me. That's 3 of 9 people. You know what I mean? So the other people, like she should have been fourth or fifth if we're gonna talk all that talk. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
again, that's sports. It happens. You win some, you lose some. You know, cool. Um, I'm not even as irritated or concerned with her after race interview. Adrenaline's going. We know she's Sha'Carri. Like we know there's already an expectation of a certain level of performance from her post race. So that doesn't even really bother me. I've seen some crazy ish said by some very, very people that we revere and consider professionals and don't ever question it right after some of these games, wins and losses. Okay. So I'm not going to really even speak on that. The thing that gives me pause and makes me feel as though sis needs to really rein it in some is how she acts after the adrenaline has dropped, after she's had time to reflect. The way that she still acts like she's on a small stage is going to hurt her. It has been she was online liking the tweets and posts of people who were talking crazy about the Jamaicans, who were talking about how they was bare, of course you can run fast when you run barefoot, racist statements about the Jamaicans. She was liking those. Um, she has
She came for Allison too.
she came, thank you. She came for Allison, who is like beloved. If you have any understanding of track whatsoever, you don't come for Miss Allison because she don't bother nobody. She went on Jimmy Kimmel asking for them to rally for support for her. And then she then turns on Instagram or I think one of them platforms. I don't follow it like that. But she returns and says, it's so crazy when people get on TV and try and support you when they never really supported you and yada, yada, yada. Like, all of this is so much. It is such a distraction. Just run your race, sis. Like just run your race. While you're not currently winning, you have some semblance of empathy from people because of your upbringing, the things that you've been through, the things that we watched you go through. We see that you have some talent here. But let's not act like we just have to wait for you to grow up. Like the people do not have to wait for you to grow up. You ain't the only little black girl running with multicolored hair. We saw that. You know what I mean? You're not the only one with personality. You're not the only one. If we have learned nothing, none of us are really you're the only one but you're not the only one folks gonna rally behind. You're not the only one that's gonna get this type of attention. So I want her to shut her mouth. I really want her to just chill out. I don't necessarily, because we've been talking about humble this and humble that. I just want her to hush. I don't necessarily need you to be humble and do all that. I just need you to hush for a second and get a PR team in front of you so they can show you how to do this. You can still be opinionated. You can still be cocky. You can still do your thing. Like we've seen that done, but not like this.
I don't think the issue. I think when people are saying like be humble, it's like it's. I think what there's. I think
you
what
talking
they're
about soapboxes. That's gonna give me a whole nother
I
soapbox.
think yeah. I think what they're trying. I think what they're trying to say is be a good sport.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
again, definitely stay on your game. Stay believing in yourself. Stay like there's this not just with her, but in general that there's this idea that if you're confident, then you're arrogant.
Right.
And there's definitely a difference. And I think she should remain confident, but yeah, pick your battles better and pick your moments better. Pick
yes.
She could have what she said in the post in the game interview. I mean, I get we're on TV, so the cussing thing might, but I didn't have a problem with saying I had a bad day. I'm still her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think if like, hey, congratulations to the lady. You know what I mean? Like, congratulations to the lady one. Bad day. I'm gonna be back. Don't count. Like, oh, that's fine. Like, you should still in a loss, um, feel confident about yourself and be able to keep and move on. That's a thing in life I wish everybody had.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going into a depression or something like that.
You got to let it roll. Yeah, you got to be able to let
so,
it roll.
so I'm fine with that. I think it's just be a good sport in the process,
Right.
and I think that's what was missing in that. But in terms of like playing down herself, or no, woe is me.
No, nobody wants that.
No, just hey, they beat me today.
Yeah.
I'm coming back tomorrow. I'm gonna keep training. Like she said, I'm gonna keep training. I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna figure this thing out. Them ladies was fast.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
guess what? So am I. So we're gonna get back on here and we're gonna try this again next time.
Yep.
Move on.
Yep. I really want her to win. Like as much as I'm irritated, like by this current level of whatever, like I really want her to get it together and win. Even when I'm frustrated, like I still want her to win. There's so much that could be done. There's so many doors that could be open for other women in her position, for other people who come from where she comes from. You know what I mean? With that background, with that grit, with that hunger. I don't want her to be the reason why. And I hate that this is still even
That's the thing.
the thing.
Yep.
But it's still our reality. You know what I mean? She doesn't, and that's what frustrates me. She doesn't recognize the size of the stage that she's on, and that is like,
I have this thing that I always say that don't put me on a platform. Don't let my gift get me to a platform that my character can't maintain.
Woo, a word.
And we are literally watching her develop her character in front of all of us, and that's difficult. And it's almost like you want to be like there's a level of graciousness that we should give her, but there's also a level of love, and with love comes accountability. So we have to be able to say to you, sis, like you just said, like you're on the grandest stage, and you have to make better choices. Or you and if you're going, you have to position yourself that as you're making choices, you surround yourself with wise counsel who are close enough to you to say stop, and who who you will listen to when they try to give you wise counsel. Because at this point, like you said, this is especially in something like track and field, the window of opportunity is so small, and because the Olympics are once every 4 years, and you have a world championship here, but you don't really have the same level of exposure or the same length of period of time as almost any other sport.
Yeah,
and there's almost
she's creating a space, a different niche that just needs highlighting. They wanted her to be the highlighter. Like she, you know what I mean? Like someone needs to say, like, you are the current highlighter. Like that is a huge responsibility for little girls that look like you, for other people that look like you.
And if anything, she should learn from what just happened to Miss Allison.
Yeah.
Because as she is, older now and transitioning out of being, the darling of track and field, gets married, gets pregnant, she gets dropped from Nike. So I mean, it's like you have
for perception's sake,
right? So it's like it's a small.
No, not perception's sake. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's a small window of trying to make sure that you get to maximize the moment that we have. So I think that's for me is one of the reasons why I want to see her do well. I want to see her do well because she's talented, and her story definitely says, like, if you survive and thrive and find your gift in the midst of all the things that she's gone through, you deserve to get some good, a whole lot of good.
You deserve.
So I want to see that for her. I want to see her get to her good and not shortchange it. So,
agreed.
All right, last one. All right, so here's. Why you feel like this? All right, here it is. So here is the background. I went on a date with the lady a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, I had car trouble and wasn't able to drive. I did tell her, and she said it was cool and she would drive. On the way out to the date, we stopped at the gas station and she asked if I would get out, pay, and pump gas for her because she didn't want to. I told her no because it's not my car and not my responsibility to pump or pay for her gas. Was I wrong? Are men still pumping gas for grown baby able-bodied women in 2021? I haven't heard from her since the date, but that's fine because to me this was another example of entitlement because I think females have the mindset that they expect you to beg them to take them out on a date that you are expected to pay for. GTFOH. I don't agree with it, nor am I doing it. I don't beg anyone. Am I wrong for this process as well?
Yes. And yes. Hell yes. You are very wrong, sir. You are very wrong.
Nothing about what he did was right. Let's just throw it. Nothing.
He took you out on the date. He has the audacity.
I'm trying to figure out what he did right. That's what I want to. What did you do right on this day, sir?
Not call her back. Let it just be. That was the best thing that he did in this entire situation. Leave her alone. You just let her be. She left you alone and you let her. That was the best thing that homie did in this entire situation. That's it.
I wanted to be like, sir, who raised you? Who raised you?
At the gas station.
Listen, who raised you and who hurt that person? Because clearly something was not properly taught to you. There was nothing about this that was out.
Nothing.
If that was my sister, I would beat his behind.
And hers too, for picking him up. No.
I would worry about that. My sister put you out.
Right.
You left you at the gas station. I ain't gonna tell you the lie. My sister left you at the gas station, but and called me and told me, let me tell you what this fool did. And I'd have been like, good. Where is he still there? I'll go pick him up. So me and him can have a conversation.
Yeah. This is so trash. This is so trash. Like the audacity in the words that we are reading right here. Like he really feels that he's right. Like this was I wrong and am I still wrong are very rhetorical. He knows he's wrong. There's nothing right about this. I
told her no because it's not my car and not my responsibility to pump or pay for her gas. It's not her responsibility to pick you up either, sir.
Nope.
Did you miss that part?
Yep. Sure did.
And she ain't say you had to fill it up.
He wanted to go half when they got there anyway. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. He was going to expect her to go half. Or pay the tip. No, I'm playing.
I'm like, bro.
Put the tip in. He ain't going to be putting no tips in nothing. Not on the table. Not listen, let me stop.
I'm like, okay. Again, you didn't have to fill it all the way up, the tank all the way up. But pumping the gas, put 20 on for like 20. She picked you up. She taking you home. Like, was that such a big deal? Or if you didn't have it, just say you didn't have it.
Mm-hmm. Why she got to be all of this? She got to be entitled and begging you to take it. Like, why she got to be all of this? She went and picked you up. She understood your little sob story. Said, okay, cool. I'm gonna come get you. Need to pull in, get a little bit of gas, and you gonna start rocking your neck back and forth and wagging your finger about pumping and paying for some gas.
The same money you could have spent on the Uber, you could have put in her. You could have put in that gas tank. Because the Uber, if it costs you at least $25
in most places, yeah, there and back at least. So
you couldn't put 25 on two.
These are the types of dudes I tell my daughters about. And I swear that if I find out my son is, I'm gonna beat him upside his head. Like, and I'm not even violent like that. But he gonna have to put him up if I find out he out here doing this type of stuff.
He said, our men still pumping gas for able-bodied women. Yes.
If they're gonna be my man, they are. Yes.
Yes, yes, we are. And
this is one of them. I guess this is a preference thing because there are some women who will say, well, there was a few on the post that said, that a very few, mind you. That's, you know, like he shouldn't have to pay for the gas, and that's not his responsibility. And
It's not. It's not his responsibility. It's not. That's not the point.
that's not, and that's what I'm saying. But that was also not the point
Yeah.
that was supposedly trying to be made. But
Just
that is
like
not,
just like she was kind enough to pick you up and take you home, you couldn't have been kind enough to say, "Hey, let me put some," because you went out your way to help me.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you said, "Yeah, I'm." I just say throw the whole thing away. Just throw
what
the
has
whole.
happened to how I'm so concerned for what qualifies as true relationship now. What if spending time, if learning how to get, you know, if learning how well we may or may not align, you know, work with someone is too much, what are we really doing? We have reduced our relationships so much that we have taken out caring or showing affection, showing appreciation. Like there are ways, like that's still a thing. Like actually doing actions, putting forth effort, go being uncomfortable a little bit, going out of your comfort, you know, out of your way for somebody. Those are still things. When did those things become taboo?
When we say
What others? What other?
when we allowed
Checking.
when we allowed the idea that marriage is nothing more. What do we say? Marriage is nothing more than a piece of paper. It's nothing but a business transaction. And when we've reduced it to that, we are at a point. We are at least at that point already taking out all of the things that you just said. Because in a business transaction, care doesn't matter.
Not a factor. Yep.
Unless I am caring to get what I want out of this deal.
It's all about what the best deal for me. That's what it is.
The best deal and making sure that whatever I want out of this. So I want sex. I want companionship. So I'll make sure I do the things that get me, that I think are acceptable to get me sex and companionship, but the things that show that I care about you, now I'm going to reduce it to that's not my responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not responsible for your car. I'm responsible for my car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or
we'll make it so unattainable, that part of you, make it so far out of reach that even I think sometimes we don't know how to get back to it. We move our feelings and our soft spots. We remove it so much that when you do find somebody that you like a little bit, that you actually might want to give it to, you don't even know how to give it to them no more. Like that's where we get into those awkward, I let them get away. I just couldn't get it together. It's because we have made it okay to hide our soft spots. It is okay to tuck them far, 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 far away.
Yes, yes. Because in an attempt not to be hurt, I won't expose myself. But what we don't realize is in not exposing yourself, you don't allow yourself to be seen, fully seen.
Or loved either. Like you're not exposing yourself to fully being loved either. Because those places those parts of you gonna show up.
Absolutely.
And it's unfair to spring them on a person all willy-nilly. Like that, it's unfair to them to do that. But again, we're not talking about care and fairness. That's not really what works in business.
Business transactions.
Yeah.
And contracts.
That's the thing. In contracts, that's not what you care about.
Not what you care about in a contract or a business transaction.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where we've gone wrong. It's now we're expecting people to care for us or to do things for us. Because flip it on the flip side, you're gonna care. You're gonna, if you're that type of man that wants her to bring her, like women that bring plates,
mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden now it's like it's not my responsibility to make sure you eat.
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean, all of the things that we do for one another to show that we care, to show that I have your back, to show that I'm in this not for the purpose of the transaction. I'm not in this just for the purpose of because you make six figures, or I'm not in this for the purpose of you look good on my arm, or you're supposed to give me what I want whenever. All of those things are gone, and now we've reduced everything to a transaction.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
They don't like it, clearly.
Yeah, that's what's obvious. That is, you are so right. That's it right there. Everyone, everyone, I say everyone loosely, but those who are team contract or whatever the case may be and don't see the value in it are folks who are generally not happy. Like of 20 people that we have this conversation with, there might be 4 to 5 people who be like, yeah, I've been in a 20-year relationship and we don't have no marriage and everybody's happy. If I die, all our stuff is in order. If he die, I'm taken care of. All the people know, da 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 da. Like, where all the things align, they've been loving each other. Everything's been beautiful. They just don't have marriage. You know what I mean? But for the very most part, we wouldn't argue so much if it was okay not to care. If everybody was so cool with not caring, then we would not argue the way that we do.
I'm gonna say this: even the people who are at that place are not have either come to that because they've like settled to it, or people who have come to they've pretty much have settled to it, and it's like, listen, the benefits of staying here outweigh the potential of me not getting at least this someplace else. Because so they don't even want it. They don't even want it. But it's like, I don't really feel like there's any other options. I've never met a man or a woman who is happy, fully happy, fulfilled in that type of relationship. And usually what happens is once whatever that thing is gone, you know, so if it's children, once the kids get out the house, if it's money, once the job is gone, or the health will goes bad, or if it's, you know, whatever, once that thing is gone, then all of a sudden the relationship breaks down, and now it's time to move around. Because now that thing that I counted on, that I just said, okay, this is why I'm gonna stay, it's not there anymore, or it's not a good enough reason anymore.
You counsel far more couples than I ever could think of, so I'm gonna go with your experience on that note.
It's bad.
Yeah, I could see it though. I could totally see it. But yeah, it's hard out here to watch that transpire among our people.
Yeah. Which I think we should just, you know, to our point that was made, we should just be honest and say, I'm hurt. Or I'm hurting, or have been hurt, and because I've been hurt, this is what I'm doing. You know, like, because I would like, he's saying, is it my responsibility? No, it's not your responsibility. I would have said, no, it's not your responsibility, but do you care for her? Or do you like to be cared for? In the future, if you plan to be with this person or with a person, don't you want to be the type of person who habitually shows care for and kindness for other people and returns the favor when somebody does something nice for you? Is that your personality, or is it not?
I even think at this stage, when it might almost be asking too much to say that he cares for her, because they're saying they're on a date. But like, do you appreciate the effort that she's making? If you're going as far as going on a date with someone, do you not want to set the example that care could exist here for you?
That's what I mean. Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, because there will be people that will respond to you and be like, well, just only a date. How you know he care? I don't know if I care for you after one date. You don't, but you're setting the whole point of going on the date is to set. But in that moment, are you not trying to set expectations for what could possibly be if we do this again? Like, I don't want to surprise every time we get together. You know what I mean? Like, that's not cute. So I think we have to really think about that when we have these conversations about those first dates, because we, you know, that's where they push back. Well, I don't love you yet. I don't care about you.
Yeah.
And
it's not, when I say care, I mean, I think there's a base level of care that you have for humans.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, like a base level of just like when I see a stranger, I speak. Like, I'm not just only going to talk to people just because they're, you know, that's the thing. I want to see how you treat the janitor and not just how you talk to the seat. Like, those are things that are valuable. So is that your personality? And again, if you don't have it, it's fine to say, hey, I'm not prepared to fill your gas tank up. Which is one of the reasons why I asked you why I was okay with getting the ride versus an Uber. Like that, okay, cool. Got you. Now at least it's not my responsibility to take care of your car. Like, that sounds like that's immature. That sounds very immature. If I go somewhere with my friends and they drive and be around, I'm gonna be like, hey, here's $10 for gas. You know what I mean?
Putting something on it. You're putting something on it.
Need some money for some gas? You got it? All right, cool. But at least you asked. Like that's what I mean. Like just normal care things that we do for people should be the standard. It should be a person standard. When I walk into a store, I'm going to get some drink. Hey, you need something? You good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. It's just not a big deal.
Courtesy. I agree.
Not a big deal. Shouldn't be a big deal. Also, fucks.
I put gas in my homegirl's car. So yeah, you're right. When we all go out, we fight you if you don't take the gas money. Like, girl, if you would have put your like we race into the thing to swipe the card. Like, get away from me. You know what I mean? Like,
you drove, I got the gas.
Somewhere so we can slide the card, pay for it, put all of this on one bill and go. Like, don't come back to this table until you got it swiped. I'm waiting on it. Like, you know what I mean? That is really how it has to go sometimes. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's how it should. All right, y'all. That was Hot Topics. And of course, Hot Topics, we didn't say this earlier, brought to you by Bob Shamrock. Bob Shamrock is the Black-owned business gas station on Northwest 10th Street in Oklahoma City. So their mantra is pull up and fill up, where you can pull up and fill up not only your gas tank, but fill up your stomach with wonderful barbecue. So again, they're located at 2901 Northwest 10th Street in Oklahoma City. That's 2901 Northwest 10th Street in Oklahoma City. It's across from the fairgrounds. And of course, tell them your friends at The Scoop sent you. All right, you got it. Or do I have it? Oh, hold on.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Okay. Yes, of course, make sure you advertise with us. Yes, you have a business, product, or service that you need more exposure, where you want it to be seen by the masses. You need to advertise with us here on The Scoop. We have pricing packages to fit all budgets. So if you are interested, email me at globaldriveradio@gmail.com or hit me up in my inbox, and we can talk about which package is appropriate for your business or your product. And of course, not purchased my new book, Surviving Relationship Storms, then you need to do that today. And check out this wonderful voiceover by the wonderful Shaquille Williams.
In your romantic relationship, it is important for you both to know what love, honor, and respect mean to one another and what it looks like. Many men and women in relationships have differing understandings of love, honor, and respect, which cause them to mislabel their partners as unloving, uncaring, nagging, dishonorable, and/or disrespectful, when in fact your partner is attempting to love, honor, and respect you, just from their story. Gottman says, for a conflict discussion to succeed, you must state your feelings as neutrally as possible and then convert any complaint about your partner into a positive need. Your goal is to give your partner a blueprint for succeeding with you. Think of your negative emotions as a clue to a hidden wish. Then express that desire directly. Learning each other's stories help us to build better understanding and responses. And if we pay attention and ask the right questions, we as partners can become helpers in our partner's healings by giving grace, mercy, and truth in a way that heals and doesn't further wound one another. To learn more and order your copy of Surviving Relationship Storms by Winfred Burns II, visit bit.ly/Blue Storms today. Y'all check out Wynn's intro soft voice, the voice drop that he did. Did y'all catch that? I like that I have that calming effect over your spirit. I appreciate that. That made me giggle so much.
All right, you got it.
All right. Is it my ad now or
yes.
Topic? Okay.
You want to do this one first?
Yeah, let's do that one. And I'll do the other one at the end. So, y'all know it's fall. It's fashion show time. You guys know that I pretty much volunteer my body, my face, my life to Back to My Roots for the fall show as well as the show at the in January. So no, in February. So it is now time for the 4th annual fall fashion show. It is taking place on September 26th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Doors open at 5 at the ICE Event Center here in Oklahoma City. Y'all Google it, but if you know, you know. You can purchase your tickets at btmrclothing.com. Be sure you hit up that events tab, and that will get you locked in to your tickets. All of VIP is sold out. They completely sold out today. There are no more. Okay. So general admission is available for the 6 p.m. show. You do not want to miss it. We are, the fall show always features, designers and vendors from the community, from Oklahoma, local Black-owned businesses. So this is going to be an opportunity. Those logos at the bottom there are some of the vendors and brands that will be showcased at this show. So it is one for the community. It is one that you don't want to miss. Child, if you have never been to a Back to My Roots fashion show, it is so lit. It is so lit. We have so much fun. I ripped the runway along with my BTMR tribe, the BTMR tribe. So again, I am cordially inviting you to get your tickets to come out if you are going to be anywhere near ICE Event Center in Oklahoma City on September 26th on the year of our Lord 2021. We would love to have you and yours in the building. Booyah.
There we go. There we go.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so now tonight we are going to talk about self-care and self-love, but we are going to talk about it from the perspective of how we grew up. What were you taught about self-care? Being good to yourself. How does that show up in how you're good to other people? How does how you love yourself connect us to our relationships? And how do we adapt what we learned about self-care as children for our loved ones as we grow older, as we become adults, as we mature in life? How has that childhood lesson been adapted for our adult relationships? And has it been beneficial? Has the groundwork that was laid for us as children, how has that benefited us? How have those examples that were shown to us benefited or not as we become adults? So that's what I wanted to get into tonight. Yeah. It caused my eyes to roll around a little bit too before I sent it. I was like, oh. You know, because we take a lot of our foundational lessons, the things that we've always seen as how we do it. That's how we've always done it. It's the only way I know. You know, we have a lot of those that we carry into our relationships, and we absolutely expect our significant others to either come with those same things or be more than willing to adapt to those ways in order to love you. Like, period. And often this is one of the things that creates a lot of frustration and discord for newlyweds. These are some of those hurdles that we talk about in those first the first 2 to 3 is usually when you start to get into this. When you start to really try to peel back those things. What's I've always done it. What? Always. Who else does it this way? And then you find out, you know, all of the things. And you know, so sorry, let me not get off track because y'all know I'm good for that. Self-care specifically is what I want to kind of tune into, because right now that's the wave. Like for men and women alike, it's all about reclaiming your time, minimizing the distractions, reducing the things that disturb your peace. If it's not about helping you feel like your very best you, if it's not pouring into you until your cup is overflowing, it ain't worth it. You know, it ain't worth it. All of these things. But where was the foundation created for our self-love? What are we measuring that against? Or are we out here figuring it out as we go? And how is that showing up in our relationships? Those are the questions that we're mulling around with this evening. When you give me quite a few thoughtful faces, I hope someone's been screenshotting these so we can meme them later. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
I was sitting there thinking, like, I wonder what was I taught?
About right, because it wasn't really about the care of self, other than making sure you kept a roof, your bills was paid, and you didn't come ask me enough for no money.
Yeah,
That was self-care. The fact that I'm no longer caring for yourself in a lot of ways.
Well, even
what we were taught.
And even I'm thinking like what I learned by watching. I don't think I can't say that either of. So I would say self care for my dad was playing golf, and he did it like early Saturday morning. So I knew like 5 o'clock in the morning Saturday morning till about noon he was gone. He was gonna play golf. That was about it. Other than that, it was work, game, responsibility. So I don't think I'm trying to think from my mom. I don't remember growing up her getting, like I said, old like manicures and like maybe like the self care for her. My mom was probably church retreats, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I love you, Mama, but it's true.
Let us know, Mama. Tap in. We know you out here. Well, let us know what's self care. Send bro a message. What do you do?
Maybe like baths and stuff like like that kind of. But I can't remember like growing up thinking that self care was a thing. So I think I probably took that into my own life, thinking there's no like what's self care. And I think I know I used to have this thing like I would say like you sleep when you die, so I don't need sleep. And I regularly for a while ran on 4 to 5 hours of sleep.
And then you discovered the value of a nap, the anointing of a nap.
My body made me learn that because everybody's like, sir, we sleepy. We're tired. Sit down somewhere. But I will say, like, from myself and my mother, we have this, like, when we sit down, no matter when it is, where it is, we're going to sleep. So, like, when people like when we finally get still, our body's like, oh, sleep, cool, let's go, and they don't sleep really quick. So,
the same way.
Yeah. So I think, self care was never. It was you just go and go and go and go and go. Now that I have a routine that I try to maintain, it's different. Now it's difficult to try to do because it's still new.
It's new.
It's new, and I'm not used to it, and my mind is not used to it, and I'm actually having to train my mind that this is okay. You're not falling behind. You're like in life. Right. Like in my mind, it's like I'm falling behind in life because while I'm sleeping, my competition is working. Stuff like that. Or I'm not behind in life because I'm not going to lose out on money because I took a nap. Or for me, it's every Friday. Like every Friday, I Sabbath every Friday. So I'm not going to not be prepared for Sunday because I take the day off and do nothing on Friday.
Yeah.
Like, so I have to tell myself you're fine. Or if I don't call people back, it's okay. They're going to live.
Yeah, right.
You're not their Jesus. Like, you're okay. And I have to rehearse this in my mind because my practice and my habit has been work. People call, answer, be there for everybody who needs to be there, as many people as you can. Try to answer every call as quick, respond to every email as fast as possible to keep things off your plate. And now it's like, no, slow down. Every week, slow down. And when I can't, now I'm at a point, I think last week I couldn't, and I could feel it. I was like, I'm off today.
Yeah. You're out of your routine. With your body and your mind, like your energy is used to that recharge. It's like a battery. It was ready to recharge and you forced it to go into that last where you getting the, what do they call it when you got a short in it? Like every once in a while you get a burst of it may or may not work. Yeah. Okay. I can agree with that. Or I can see that. I can identify with that. My dad played golf also. And when he and my mom first got together, he did basketball. He played basketball. Um, he would go on Saturdays and he'd hoop at the Y. And I remember I would tag along with him we'd be there for hours. And sometimes, I'd watch and I'd roam off or whatever, and that was his thing. And it allowed him to decompress enough to be able to come back and go back and do what he did, because he had very physical, very intense work that he did. So that was necessary for him. For my mom, she got her nails done. That was her thing. Her nails were her thing. And she would go, her quiet time was her bathroom. Like, not necessarily doing bathroom things, but like she created a space in her bathroom that is her quiet. She's got a TV with a cable connection, like a little TV in there with a little cable connection. She's got her little candles and stuff set up, and all of her thing, like that is her haven. And we learned to know that when she was there, now we were kids like everybody else. Like, we were talking through that door. She would laugh today. She says we have a sensor to this day, even in our own homes, that when she goes in the bathroom and closes that door, we call. Like, it is like we don't even want nothing, but we just randomly, that's the time she said, girl, I just got in my damn bathroom. That'll be the thing that she said. I just got me a minute, and we'll laugh and I'll let her have her moment, because I know that's what she needs. You know what I mean? But there was not ever really a declaration of, this is how you do this. You need to create things that are for you. It was more of this is just what it is. You didn't ask no questions about it, because that's just what it is. We're going to do what we do. And what I learned from that was that it's important to have a thing that is for you, for sure. And it doesn't always have to make sense to everyone else. Because I did not ever really understand why she chose to dunk on bathroom. I was like, what of all the places? But now that I'm a mom, I completely understand it. And I feel bad that I did not respect it more, understanding that. Now how I've taken self-care and prioritizing self in general. You know what I mean? Because being able to prioritize self is self-care. So I think that is where I sometimes questioned if my parents were doing that well, if prioritizing themselves was always important. You know what I mean? Because often I would feel, just being honest, and I would probably, my mama will watch this later and go, what? But she'll get it, because we've had kind of conversations about this before. But I often thought, now knowing what self-care is, they should have done it more often and deeper. You know what I mean? Because I think we're taught how to recognize when other people need self-care, but we will back burner our self-care until we cannot anymore. You know what I mean? We'll say, girl, you tired. You need a break. Bring them babies by. You need a break, girl. You know what I mean? And you need a break too. Like, y'all both need to be in the car. Y'all both need to hire a babysitter. You know what I mean? Y'all both need somebody watching the babies. But we can see it show up in other people before we can see it in ourselves, and that is what was hardest for me. Like, I've always had my little things, like I color, I write, you know what I mean? I walk off and I like being out, with myself. Like, I have things that I do that are just for me, that I can do by myself, and I enjoy doing by myself, that I consider self-care. But that prioritization of self and connecting that as care, and then meshing that into relationships that are meant for just you and that other person, not necessarily where it's a group of people where we all meant to care for one another, but it's just me and you, and we somehow have been told all this time we're supposed to care for others, but I still need you to I need to be able to say, but this is for me. You know what I mean? And that be okay. It's expected. It's embraced. That's the word I was looking for. Like, I'm looking for you to show me ways to show up for you, let you do it just for you. So that's been hard. That has not been easy.
Yeah.
With the onset of how wonderful self-care, how big self-care is. That's the ugly side of it. That's harder to express to somebody.
Yeah, I think part of the reason is is when we decide that. So I think, and I'm going to say something that might be seen taboo. I think that one of the things that makes it difficult is we prioritize our children and our jobs over that, and so we think that we're winning some kind of contest by self-sacrificing or by sacrificing ourselves at the expense of our children, or doing things, making sure we're there for everything. And sometimes it's like I just can't do it. Like sometimes we have to just be honest and say
This is
I
all
have
I got.
I can't be present for that. I might miss this, I might miss that, because there are some things I need to do. Like we'll say that, spouses come before children, but in terms of quality of time and quantity of time, we're more present for them, for our children and for our jobs than we are
Everybody else.
and even for our spouses than we are for ourselves. So the idea of, I can't do this or I need time to do that is a foreign, especially in our community, because it's always work, survive, and survive. It's let me survive. How do I survive and work and survive and work to survive? And hopefully and work so to the hope and the desire that I might get ahead enough to take a break. But if that comes, it's like, or if we get to a place where we're comfortable, then we add another goal that raises the bar even higher. So, okay,
Back to work we go.
I make 40,000 now. When I get to 75, I'll be good. We get to 75, it's like, no, okay, I'm here now, but now I just got to work to 100. Now I just got to work till I get to the VP, and once I get to VP, now I got to keep going till I get to, and now you dead. And or you so feeble that you can't take care of yourself, and so now it's like self-care is somebody else changing your diaper, so it's too late. So I think we're just not in a space where we understand, like, you'll get there if you're supposed to, but you want to, but how you get there is just as important as you getting there.
Yeah, and how and the getting there, I think it's important that we really work through what this looks like before the whole you'll get there. Because like I know what you mean, but getting there for a lot of people gets there after the opportunity for it to really add value has not really passed, but it is not as impactful. Meaning, a lot of the times we're forced into the necessity of self-care because we have no other choices. You know what I mean? And now I don't really have a whole lot left. So I'm just going to do what I need to do. And then I'm going to do these things because it's what's for me now. So like, it's almost, we take it from self-care to it's selfish. And now like the world owes me this. It's like it doesn't become as much like it's your care for self. It's now what you expect everyone else to care, that you create this space for yourself. That's what I've known when people fight against creating that or doing that work to identify what this takes from me. What is it going to take for me to transition out of this? Go hard, go home, I'll sleep when I'm dead. I got to chase all the birds and I got to be the early bird for all the worms all the time. Like that is work that we have to do, because when you get to that, when it just happens to pop up and you're like, oh, well, this is what you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have the same.
Well, at that point, it's not self-care. It's almost a necessity at that point.
Yeah, but it's dirty. Like it's like mean spirited self-care. It's like, is that really what we don't call it? Like it's almost like we shouldn't call it self-care.
It's almost like sanity. Like I need to do this to maintain my sanity or maintain my health, because a lot of times this happens as we get into like especially my age. It's like, oh wait, I got high blood pressure. I need to sit down for a couple of. I can't now do this. Now I have to in order to maintain my health or my blood pressure. You ain't gonna let them get my pressure up. I need to sit down. I need to learn how to do that. So now I have to force myself into something that's a gift. Like self-care is a gift to ourselves from ourselves. And it really is a pattern that, for me at least, and when I was thinking about this earlier, I'm like, I think the biggest part that frustrated me about it is this is actually a pattern that I was taught and knew, and still, like, it's in the Bible, fool. How you doing? How you
This
missed
is what
it?
you do.
What you doing? You missed it.
Yeah.
Because the idea of, because you get so surrounded and wrapped up in what happening around you. So,
because shoot, the work of teaching and sharing the Bible is still work, and that's how we've learned how to work. Like, there is no rest, there's no vacation. There's so many of us who growing up that didn't take vacations. Your vacation was going to your granny and them house in the country for a little while. Why? So your mama and daddy could pick up extra shifts and not worry about having to run home and feed the babies for the summertime, so they could have money to take care of everybody for when school started back. You know what I mean? That was how we got vacations. That was for so many of us, the Black vacations. If you took regular family vacations, you were blessed, because for so many of the, so many folks, it was just going to your cousin them's and hanging out so that the adults could go adult, and it wasn't just kicking it. The parents weren't on vacation when the kids was gone. They were working, and probably more than any other time of the year, because the kids weren't there.
I asked a friend of ours the other last week. I said, we were talking, and he was like, "Yeah, I took off today," and he was worried that he might lose his job. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Well," he's like, "Well, I have vacation days." So how many PTO hours you got? And he was like, "I got 120 something PTO."
Don't even matter.
Yeah. I said, "Dude, you got 3 weeks vacation. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Use a vacation day." I said, "When's the last time you take a vacation?" He was like, I think like 2015. I'm like, this is the mindset that we have, though. Like,
yeah,
we're scared to take off, because we're scared he was scared that if he took off of work, he would lose his job.
Mm-hmm. That's the culture. Ours and corporate. Yes. Ours and corporate. They've completely allowed us to feed into that. Yep.
And I'm like, dude, I say you need to take every vacation day you have every year. Don't give them nothing.
I'm not. Yeah, that's what I told my supervisor recently, because I've been in go hard or go home mode for a while, and the pandemic. Like, what am I taking PTO for? Like, I'm working at home. Like, I wasn't stressed to the point where I felt like I need a week off, that type of thing. So, like, I didn't take any chunks during the majority of last year. So I've got quite a bit of bank stashed away for PTO, and that's unusual for me. I have 3 school-age children. Having that amount of PTO is like unheard of. So she came to me recently and was like, "Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to take some vacation, like, quickly." Like, because I know good and well you're not trying to give back hours at the end of this year, and you've only got so much time with all the things that we've got to do. Like, we're still got to do this work, but I need you to prioritize some time away from here. You know what I mean? And I think that is rare that a leader will come and say that, but I know that that's something that's big where I am, that we make sure that people are trying to maintain that work-life balance. But we can't wait for our leaders to do that. We've got to stay on top of that. Don't give them people no money back. You give them your whole lives. Mm-hmm. We spend more time at work than we do in any other place, period. With any other group of people, period. That is where we spend our time. Y'all take y'all's time. That is not for show. It's to be used. Yeah. Don't give it back. Do not give it back.
And don't always use it. I mean, I know we have to expect a lot of times when we have younger children, but don't let that be the only time.
Don't save it just for the babies. Yeah.
Like, again, I get it, especially if you're in a situation where you don't have daycare, or you don't have, I know there are a lot of parents who, if you don't have someone who can watch your children when they get sick, I absolutely understand that. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying don't do it at all, but I'm saying don't let that be the only reason that you take some time off. Mm-hmm. Even if it's half a day, even if it's a couple of hours, like, you got to squeeze it in.
My favorite days are Wednesdays, when everybody's at school, everyone thinks I'm at work, and everyone has other stuff to do other than be here with me. This is my, what are you doing? Nothing. I'm gonna sit in my bed. I'm gonna watch Netflix. I'm gonna color. Is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna. I might paint my toes. I might not. I'm gonna make me a good meal. And that was what my mama. That was the thing that I was forgetting. Food. Food was our self care. Food was our love language in a lot of ways. My mama would be feeling herself, honey, and she would get in there and make her a 4 or 5 course meal, appetizers to desserts, honey. She'd have all kinds of little sneaky snack things and take her little food tray in her room and sit on the bed and wiggle her toes back and forth. So happy she had her whole spread, okay? Like, so and Michelle is watching now. I think like my girls will tell you like food is my thing. Like I want to eat in the best places. I want to have the best environment. I will, honey, I don't care how much it costs. I want this, I want that, I want an appetite, I want 2 drinks. Like that when I go to eat, that is a whole vibe for me. You know what I mean? So and that's because eating well has always been,
that's part of your thing.
Taking care of yourself, you know, or and it's also how we show love. Big
Absolutely.
birthday, you know, your birthdays, you got whatever you wanted to eat. Like we are whatever you wanted her to cook, mama was getting in there and making it happen. You know what I mean? Okay, baby, it's your birthday, you know, and that's how we do. We didn't do birthday parties and you know, spend a lot of money for that. We're gonna sit here and break bread and enjoy each other, and we're gonna have a wonderful meal. So yeah, we had to be, considering the times we were in, we had to be creative and how we implement, you know, because it wasn't popular. Exactly. It wasn't popular. People would probably look at you crazy talking about, I'm doing this for me. This is my self-care time. Like, you might want to hear that. Like, oh, okay. I'm going to work while you self-care. Like, you know.
Exactly. And and I agree with that too. I agree with that. And it was a different time.
Yeah.
So I absolutely get it.
Yeah. And how are you teaching Trey about self-care?
Trey teaches me about self-care.
Yes, baby. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love
Trey's
it.
Like that. I need about 2 hours in my room by myself just to play my game and watch. Is that a go for it? Or here in the morning, Trey's like, can you wake me up early enough so I just need some chill time after I eat my breakfast? Yes, sir. So I was like, give him 15 minutes. He just lay in his bed, sit there on his iPad and do what he do and sit there and I'm like, all right, buddy, it's time to go. Okay, I'm ready.
I love that. Yes, nephew. Yes. I love that. I like that. The younger generation is finding ways to do it and they're learning how to communicate. It's what they need. It's beautiful that they're able to do that. And you get more of the understanding from like, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it's playing into the whole, you know, kids are too soft these days or, you know, they can't handle nothing or nothing like that. And, you know, I don't agree with that. I think we're creating humans that are going to blow our minds here in a little bit. Like, that's what I really think. Here in a minute, we're going to be like, damn, you know, kids are kind of killing it. But, I like that because I listened to Amaya and Anasia who still share a room. They still currently share a room. And there are times where Anasia will pretty much put Maya out of the room. Nasia needs her me time from what I've noticed so far, much more than Amaya does. Maya likes to be, you know, she likes being around people. She doesn't really mind. She'll put her headphones on and literally have a whole conversation with herself, with you like over here. And keep, what? Huh? Oh, no, I'm not talking to you. Who are you talking to? Like, it's nobody's on the phone, but like yeah. So, but Anasia needs like that door closed. She needs her seclusion. And she will tell her that because Maya will be like, you're over there and I'm over here. Like, why does it matter that I'm still in the room? She's like, you just don't get it. Like, she's had them, look here, boo-boo, I need you to go downstairs type moments with Maya. And it tickles me, but I get it. And I love that they are exercising this. They're figuring this out with each other. Because, like, where you gonna go? You know what I mean? Downstairs. Like, what more can you do? This is how you teach people how to set boundaries. Yeah, I know you don't like it. I know you probably would rather like to chill in your bed right now, but we share this room. So we need to set up some time where I can be in this room, just me, and you can be in the room. I don't care if you want me to go downstairs in 2 hours, but I need these 2 hours for me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I'll come down. No, and I'm like, I'm gonna need you to pack your little bag up, sis. I'm gonna need you to take it downstairs for a while. You know, get the fire stick if you need it. Head it on downstairs. It's only fair. And you know, they be that she gets pissed sometimes, and I tell her I understand. But when it's your turn, you will be thankful that you had that time.
What it is, yep.
Yeah. And so when she gets with a man, or she gets in college and she gets with somebody who ain't gonna respect that space, or who doesn't understand that she needs it, they will both have the constitution in them to be like, this is just what it's gonna have to kind of be. Like,
that's what I need.
And I'm not gonna waste my self-care time arguing with you about it. Like, because Anasia will literally just be like, "It closed the door and lock it." I hear that go to the and from a mile another, oh my God, like, you know, stomping down the steps. It's like, she's like, I'm through talking. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do this with you. So it's hilarious to me. I love it.
But it's right.
It's necessary. Yes, it's necessary.
Right. That's what she needs. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't think in us or in them it creates. I think what you said is the thing that we also need to realize is that for not just for our physical, but for our mental selves, we need to start doing a better job of that. Because the reality is a lot of times we are so fragmented and we're so, mentally stressed that we can't perform. A lot of, we're psychologically we are so weighed down by stress and other things that we can't think new ideas. We can't invent new things. We can't fight for our relationships because we tired of fighting in our minds.
Ain't nothing left.
I don't need a fight. I need a nap. It's like, how can I try to win you over when I'm just trying to make sure that I don't go postal on everybody at work, and
yep.
And as a man, I think one of the things, like when you get to the point is, like, I know a lot of dudes who will, like, especially a lot of married dudes who do things like sit in their car and won't go in the house. And sometimes that's linked to other things, but for a lot of times that's linked to just being overwhelmed and not feeling like there's any other space inside of the home or at work that
what's on the other side.
Yeah, so it's like, let me just sit here and enjoy my peace for 15 minutes, and then I'll go in and handle what I need to handle, as opposed to being able to go. And that's fine if that's why you're doing it, but you should also script it inside your own house too. Mm-hmm. But another show for another day.
Mm-hmm. I think that comes into being parents, though. I think that's very, very specific to parents.
A lot of times.
It's more specific to parents than it is to just going home to your spouse. I would hope. I would hope you're not chilling in your garage just from your spouse.
It just really depends on the person.
Does.
Yes, a lot of times it's from parents, but a lot of times there are plenty of times when we ain't on the same page. So I know when I walk in the house, it's about to be some fireworks, and I'm not ready for it. Give me a second. I need a moment, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of times we don't recognize as men that is a sign that we are lacking in self-care.
Yeah.
Like,
true.
That's saying you need some self-care so you can get yourself together mentally as
and go
man and go, okay, let me think what I'm about to say. Let me think how I need to respond. Not like in a combative way, but like this is where we are, let me just get a moment to think through what's going to happen and how I need to respond, or not think about it at all and just decompress for a second. So maybe I can hear what she is trying to tell me, instead of becoming defensive or just tuning her out because I'm tired.
Knowing when to hold them and know when to fold them. Yep. It's so important. Yep.
I think
you realize your spouse is sitting outside. Have a conversation. Like, what else I need you out of the driveway. Like, how can we get you out of the driveway and in somewhere where you can actually decompress? Because the driveway ain't it. Like, that's still too close to home. Like, and I think we should approach it that way. Why you always out in the driveway? You know what I mean? Like, that's not helpful. That's now I'm gonna be around the corner. Like, at some point, there's gonna be a line of husbands lined up around the corner waiting to go home. Like, oh, I'm close. Where you at? Down the street, parked behind Joe and Mike and Jay. we in the school pickup line as we are preparing to go home. You know what I mean? So, like, I think as wives, we should absolutely tune into that and recognize when it's time to do that, because we have not, and I will have to be very, very honest with this. It's always been expected for women to take self-care. Even before it was considered cool, it was somewhat expected. Even like when we were growing up in the shows, mom would have her bath time. She'd come in with her robe and the towel, and she'd have, she'd be getting her little tray of her snacks and stuff, and it's that is what we saw, where it was I'm going out now, I'll be back. If you watching the Family Matters type shows and that type of stuff, so we've seen it where it was expected that mom needs her time. But we never really saw dad with his time. Dad's time was zoned out vegging on the couch with his beer on his recliner. That's not really self-care. Dad is pissed because he'd rather be playing with his friends, having fun with a beer in front of a big screen, yelling at the TV instead of having mama holler from the room, that he's too loud type of thing. So like that, I think we now, because we know the value of it and we see what it looks like, should absolutely be willing to say, honey, you really don't have to sit in the driveway. Like on this night, I got it. I'm cool. I got a light day at work on Wednesdays. I'm really not all that time. I can get off a little bit early. You go do your thing. I'll get dinner ready. I'm good. You know what I mean? Go swing by the plate, do whatever y'all need to meet with Bob and Billy and Joe, and y'all have a beer, and then come back and holler at your girl. Like those types of things we could do more of. He's not going to come tell you, I sit in the driveway for 20 minutes before I come in every night. He's not going to tell you that.
He ain't gonna tell you he really don't need to go to the store.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be right back. Like, and be right back is 45 minutes. Where did you go? Like,
went to the store.
And sat there for a minute. Yeah.
Sat there, walked around,
scrolled my phone.
Listen, I done been to the store, walked around the store, picked up these people clothes. Tried on clothes.
Fill the basket up, put it back.
Put everything back and go home. Like, all right, I'm good now. I just, whew, all right. Yeah.
And I like whole retail therapy. Yep.
I done talked on the phone to I done done everything. And then like, all right, go home now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And ready, and like be ready, like and in a mental space to actually engage and be and be enjoyable to the people that you love.
I didn't
and who'd have thought a couple laps around Walmart would do it? Who'd have thought it? That it's just a couple laps watching people and not having to engage. Sometimes being invisible is all that you need. Not having anybody ask you for anything. Not being on for anybody. I like to sit in the back booth and nobody ask me nothing. Give me my drink and drop my food off and leave me alone for a little while. I'm good.
Go to the whatever, sit in the back booth. I done that too. What do you want? Just give me your freshest cup of lemon water, please.
Get an appetizer. Order an app, bro.
Like, that's all you got. Yeah. I done done appetizer. Like, just sit there. Like,
booths are prime space. Sit at the bar.
That'll be the one time I sit with my back to the door, so nobody can see me.
Yes.
Damon put something in the box. He said, "It's tough to give yourself permission to get off the horse for refreshment, especially in a world that insists your unwavering strength is what makes you a real man. But you can't pour from an empty cup, so fill up if you plan on giving your best. The routine is key." He said, "Build the habits and let them run the program." Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, like the same thing. I think even though I'll throw this out there too, even though it is normal, or more normal, not normal, but more normal for us to push women to do it, I think we also got to look for opportunities to do it more, because it's still not enough. We're still all under immense pressure.
Yep.
All the time. So I think we still have to be looking for ways for both of us to say, you know what, like you said, I like day tomorrow, and then the next day y'all switch. You know, like, find ways to make sure that one another is refreshed. Like, you know what, your attitude is a little off. I know what that means. Go on. I got it. Mm-hmm. You not okay. All right.
Yep.
You're not here for it today. All right, go ahead and get your nails. I got the house. I got the kids. I got this. Or leave it there. They'll be back to they'll be there tomorrow.
It's not necessary. You do this right now. Yep.
No,
We're gonna be all right.
yeah. Yeah. So I think we have to be paying attention for those types of things. So.
Yep. So true.
Yeah. And pass it down. I like that too earlier. Pass it down. I think if we can make this stuff habitual, it'll help. And if we could, I don't know if y'all been seeing my videos. If we can, I've been talking about. I'm actually this week I've been talking about financial infidelity. If we could put these things in a budget, so we can budget for this stuff, y'all. Like it's not impossible to put that in your budget to say, hey, I'm gonna put aside X amount a month in the budget, X paycheck in the budget to go and do self-care. And if that self-care, like you said, is going to the local Applebee's and getting you a drink, let that be what it is. If that's all you can afford. If it's go to the park or walk around and shop, whatever it is, do that. But
schedule it in. It doesn't always even have to be like the budget. Schedule it. If you can't pay for it, schedule it. That's the same.
Do both. Both.
Oh yeah.
Schedule it in your time and schedule it in your budget. That way you could do it. I think what did I do? Oh, since I couldn't do my Saturday, I was like, I am not working Saturday evening. I took my happy self on there and got some ice cream and sat out there at the outside ice cream stand and sat there and ate ice cream.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, I'm all right now. Okay. I shouldn't have ate the ice cream, but oh well. It was good.
Yeah. I binged Queen Sugar and Colored on Sunday. I totally feel you. It was necessary. I needed it. I need it. It had been a rough week. So I said, girl, sit down. Ain't nobody expecting you to do nothing today. Sit down.
Rough week, Lord help.
It was a rough week for you. You needed Saturday. You needed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You needed a couple of days.
Lord help. Anyway, so all right. That's it. What's your final thoughts? We got time.
Yeah, we do have time. I have a random tendril that is like tickling between in the very hard place to ignore. So sorry for me grasping at my forehead. I'm trying to catch it so it doesn't have me slapping the hell out of my forehead here in a second. So I really think I love the types of conversations that we are starting to have as far as being better to ourselves, and that being better, that translating into being better for other people. Growing up, our generation specifically was very much taught that we are to be of service, that our good things, our gifts, our energy, our gusto, was to be of service to others, whether it was to the community, your family, furthering Black folks' perception. You know what I mean? Like every move that you made was supposed to have a purpose driven outside of self. If it was self-driven, then you need to redirect. And I like that we are repositioning how important it is to be a full processing, thinking person that can look at things objectively and clearly. Like I think we have now, whether it be the things that we watched in our news over the last decades. I won't even say this last whatever. Like we've seen this transpire since I say a lot of us graduated. Like when we really started paying attention to what's happening in the world and how the breakdown of people translates to the breakdown of our lives. We see folks who don't have it all figured out as like they're not prioritizing self, and how that destruction trickles down. You know what I mean? So like now we're like, can't do that. Gotta change something for that. That won't be me. Like, nope, I like my life. You're not gonna hear that, but that won't be me. So and unfortunately it's because we watch so many other people crash and burn. We've decided that there will be no crash and burn. And now we make sure that our babies won't crash and burn. And now it will be second nature to them. So when it will be easy. Like our kids won't struggle to find out what we did for self-care. They're going to be like, Yeah, my mama used to color. Like there would be days mama didn't do nothing but watch Netflix and color. Like there would be days she played in her hair all day. You know, there will be things that they will know that you do to take care of yourself. So that it's only going to get better. And I think we have to realize that these little things, this discomfort sometimes, these boundary setting conversations we have to have, this, you know, those few things that we got to cut off to make it so that we can be okay are worth it. You know, that long term, that long game is so much worth it because going backwards is not helpful. Like we cannot
Not in this area.
afford it.
Not in this area.
We cannot afford to go backwards because the work that we have to do is so important. Like we need clarity, we need focus, we need balance, we need to be able to process so that we don't miss stuff. You know what I mean? So clarity is key. I think sometimes some of our movements haven't gotten further because our leaders were not able to be clear. They were so concerned with living, yes, being alive and keeping up the work and convincing folks. Like they weren't able to be clear.
Yep.
We have the convenience of clear. We need to be able to take advantage of that. So, yeah.
Yep. Because sorry, I want to say the result of not being clear as a person and or as a leader is unhealthy ways of responding. So a lot of the bad habits that we pick up, a lot of the bad ways that we developed happen because in those spaces where we could not healthily in a healthy manner take care of ourselves. We said we self anesthetize ourselves with things that hurt us. There are some people that's how they become alcoholics. There are some people that's they become how they become start doing drugs. There's some men that's and women too where we become overly sexual promiscuous. Like there are all of these things that we can look at that say these are the results of us not being able to take care of ourselves well. Where I wanted to add to your point that you made is I think we also have to be intentional about telling our kids this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Why we're doing it. Because
calling it its name.
They might not get it as kids, but we want them to get it. Like this is self-care. You might not need it now or think you need it now. But at some point you will. Mm-hmm. And when you do, this is acceptable. Self-care is acceptable. It's good. It's needed. It's necessary. And so don't deny yourself this gift because you feel like you have to maintain this rat race or this competition with yourself, with your imaginary self, to do all of this.
And the imaginary competition, because a lot of folks ain't fooling. They ain't worried about you. Your competition is not competing with you.
Actually, nobody really cares.
Because we're too busy worried about ourselves.
Listen, the enemy has always been enemy. Mm-hmm. So
that's good.
It's always been me. It's always been inside of us. And that's the only thing we got to worry about. So, go ahead and do your ad.
Oh, is it Quail and Custard? Nope, Brave Bomb. Okay. So we are now back to schooling, and we are coming up on the end of the summertime. I've still seen many posts and many folks getting braided up. So if you are, you should holla at me for some of this blocked and beautiful braid bomb. I retwist my locks with it. As you can see, I got these fluffy, beautiful locks here in this pic right here. I retwist my locks with it. I said twist with it. I do box braids, French braids, all kinds of things. I have quite a few stylists who purchased this product, and they also love it. They love not only how well you can set braids, like you can install your styles with this product. They love that at takedown, it's easy for them or their clients to take down their hair without a lot of shedding. A lot of buildup doesn't happen with this product. It's easy to transition right into shampooing from takedown, easy to detangle because your hair is not all matted and wrapped up around itself. It's clean, happy products for your hair care. So elegancebydesign.com is where you need to shop. And if you are here in the Oklahoma City area, you can swing on by back to My Roots Marketplace in Del City. And it is in stock on the shelves, ready to take home today. Well, tomorrow. But that's where you get it.
All right. Thank you, Miss Loretta.
Yes, ma'am. Good to see your face back in the place.
Definitely. All right, well, that's all I got. I ain't got nothing else today.
You don't have a little black book back there somewhere?
Nope. I accidentally forgot to put the
Nope.
Y'all have a good night. Yes, you do, Sinead. We work. Look, she works.
That's confirmation right there, because I was having a conversation about this very thing, like today. In addition to the ones that you and I have had. Shanana, go say it. I know.
It may not come when you want them.
Always on time. Hey, I gotta do it when I can do it. No, I gotta be able to do it.
You can get you some help. Get you some employees and stuff.
I got to have some employee coinage. Y'all ain't gonna hit me up on no shop label over here. Employees cost coin.
We need some people with some community service. Who need some community service?
Interns.
You need some interns. That's what you need. But we both do, so.
Okay.
God help. Lord help. Y'all, thank you for tuning in tonight. We'll be back next week for another great show. If you have not hit the share button, please do. Q, as always, I appreciate your wisdom. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a good night. We'll be back next week.
So will.